All right, let me pose this question. Does Dan quit?
If he does quit, this means we'll never get justice ever.
Yeah.
That's like another major black pill. I think what happened over the weekend was kind of a signaling and a testing of the waters, and I think the waters are still being tested. People are still asking, did Dan Bongino show up to work today? I want to know that. I think that's going to be
we haven't heard, right? But Trump said he talked to him and he's very good. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but listen, if it's me, and this is just me personally, you sit me down and it's like, Luke, play ball. Allow these predators to be let loose and hurt children for the foreseeable future. I'm out. Peace.
Right. I just quit, right? That's his only option. You just say, fuck it, I'm out.
But listen, that's just me. But at the same time, I think there has to be some kind of internal communication with these guys being like, well, if I leave, the whole thing's totally done and I can't get any justice at all. Ever.
Also, what happens to Dan Bongino afterwards? Like, he had such a dominant platform, especially on Rumble. But if you then do a Fox News interview and you're like, that thing that we've all been talking about never happened, like, I would think it would be hard to return to a media position. I mean, well, maybe not. I know he's got some really loyal supporters and fans, and I didn't follow his work as intensely as other people, but he has boxed himself in both positions in an uncomfortable way.
Here's the thing: can he leave? I think he absolutely can, and I absolutely think he can. I told this to people who are inquiring. I think on his behalf. Can he come back? I think he absolutely can, and I think he will lose less than 5 to 10% of his viewership.
I disagree.
Let me finish my thought, and then let me finish, and then you weigh in. If he comes back, he can't wait. It's got to be pretty quick. It's got to be this week, no later than Wednesday, Thursday. Maybe say Friday, but he's got to come in and say, "I went in there. I wanted transparency. I couldn't get it. And I would not be a part of their refusal to offer transparency, so I quit." How could you hold that against them? That's my pitch. Luke, you tell me how you view him now as a fraud and a loser, if that's what he says.
I think there's still going to be a portion of people that are just lost forever.
Yeah, right? I said 5 to 10%.
I think it's a little bit more than that, but I think if there ever is a pathway towards redemption, I think you described it, and I was going to describe a very similar situation.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to describe a situation where it's like, hey, if he comes out, but this is the hard part, like he essentially, like, you can't throw Donald Trump under the bus without ruffling feathers. And
he can hide behind this
line. Let's just say he implicates Trump because Trump's calling the shots here. He's going to lose he's going to lose more than 5 to 10% of those conspiracy theorists. He's going to lose those MAGA followers that he had so much. So I think he's calculating that and saying that's
why my way works.
Yeah.
You don't implicate anybody. You say, look, everybody's got a boss. If I had it my way, there are things I can and things I can't talk about, but I could not be a part of it anymore. So I walked. I think.
Yeah. But just by saying that, that's going to piss off all the MAGA people.
Sure. I would guarantee you his first live stream back would have over 300,000 people watching.
Yeah.
He'd be as big as ever.
Everyone's going to be saying shill.
Maybe.
Shill.
Yeah, maybe.
And listen, man, I pray for, and I said this from the very beginning. We said this too. We said this on the show. There's no way we're getting the list as soon as all the hallmarkers, as soon as we got the signals, we were right about that. I have always been praying for their courage and strength to do the right thing. Now, what is the right thing? I think we don't know because we're not in there. But I think so far, if the whole case is lost, you have to weigh. Are you going to ruin your whole reputation, your whole career, everything you worked so hard for, over protecting these predators? Or are you going to come out and expose some of these predators? I think if you go out and expose some of these predators, that gives them a redemption, right? But
he may not know them. Well, yeah. What do you think, Hannah Claire? Do you think? I mean, you postulated that it's going to be tough to come back.
This is the question, right? Like, he did that Fox interview and.
Good. She froze. Hold on.
Luke, good.
If he comes out and says, "Hey, it's potentially Thiel, it's Howard Lutnick, it's this other guy, it's these people in the administration that are doing this," right? Then I think he gets a lot of street cred, right?
Yeah, he'd have to know that.
What information can he release once he leaves the government? I mean, there are like certain restrictions.
Zero. Nothing.
Backlash.
Everything he learned while working at the FBI, he won't be able to reveal a single thing.
Right. And so, like, I I feel kind of neutrally on it because, again, there were so many people who were excited to see him join the administration, and a lot of people who felt kind of bitten by the statements that he made during the last couple months. On the other hand, I think there should be a path, an off-ramp for someone who is like, this isn't what I thought I was signing up for, and I don't want to be a part of it. I just don't know how you rebuild trust, especially if we are going into a more contentious inter-community squabble. And what bothers me is we're going into midterms at this point. Like, we are well into the Trump administration. And so someone like Dan Bongino, if he were to come out of the administration, could potentially be a voice for a lot of public rallying, but that depends on how people view him. And inevitably, you can't make everyone happy. He'll lose viewers from all ends of this, whether they're release the files, Epstein people, move on from it, MAGA. Like, it doesn't matter. I just don't know enough about his base to know what they expect from him should he return to life.
Here's what somebody angrily told me on the phone this weekend.
Okay.
And I do know enough about his base, so I will confidently say, if he follows my easy two-step plan, he will retain 90+% of his viewers. Why? Because as somebody angrily pointed out to me, no, Luke, I can't text you who later. And you guys know I don't do the anonymous sources thing almost ever. He's like, you realize that, Dan Bongino doesn't have access to the files. He has a boss. Pam Bondi is his boss. Pam Bondi is the one who can or cannot release those files. It's not Dan Bongino. And it's not Kash Patel. This is somebody, obviously, who was defending him. And I was like, you know what? That's a more rational point to make, but I think he just comes out and he says, I wanted transparency. Became clear I couldn't get it. You guys know I can't talk about it. What I am going to do is I'm going to get back. I'm going to get back to work, and I'm going to I'm going to start demanding it. Yeah, I think he has to quit this week, though. If he does what Kash did, Kash weaseled back in.
Yeah.
The rumor came.
He said, conspiracy theories aren't true.
Right. My ass. Yeah. When the report came out that Dan was going to leave, he 100% said he would quit if Dan left. By the way, he has to. If Dan quits and he stays, he looks horrible.
Yeah.
He looks like a Comey stooge. And then he came back out and said, well, I'm not going to quit. And it's like, okay, well, Kash is done, in my opinion. Just another Indian scammer. Dan Bongino, if he doesn't leave, his career is done. Or get the Epstein files released. If the files aren't released in the near future or he doesn't quit, he will come back to nothing. Because this will stain him. Because let's not forget, he built part of his career stating as fact that these files existed and that he was going to go and get transparency from the government. If he doesn't do that, then what is he? He's just another mega talking head. And can he even really be mega anymore? Trump could, as Luke has said, and as his t-shirt clearly points out, Trump could tell Pam Bondi to release everything. He could. And if he says if you don't do it, I'll find someone who will.
Right.
But that's not what he did.
Yeah.
He doubled down and he said she's the best.
Yeah, Bondi's not calling the shots here. Trump is. Yeah,
Trump's calling the shots. That's what I make of that.
Yeah.
What did you think of his defense of Pam Bondi?
Horrible. And I do think I do like that she freed that guy who was in prison for giving counterfeit vax cards to people to save their jobs. That was a PR move by her. But no amount of good deeds from Pam Bondi between now and the end of her tenure will undo this. She stated as fact that she had a truckload of evidence on her desk. She either lied then or she's lying now. There is no wiggling off that hook. That's it. That's who Pam Bondi is. She lied to us then or she's lying now. And there is no out. There is no out. And Trump doubling down on his support for her did not go well.
Yeah.
He reads his True Social and he got wrecked.
Yeah. And then his kind of explanation of it, because it wasn't just endorsing Pam Bondi, it was stop talking about Epstein. But Epstein is a byproduct of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama.
Oh, that was so bad. That was so bad.
That you fell on the sword and you protected Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton when they clearly did something illegal.
That is what he said.
Destroyed your reputation. If your story is true, you're officially saying, I'm destroying everything just to protect Obama and Clinton. Because if they are involved in destroying evidence in a criminal cover-up, this is charges that you bring up against them. Right? And why didn't you say that from the beginning when you said there's no Epstein files? There's nothing. There's no client list. There's no extortion. He absolutely killed himself. Why didn't you just say, hey, guys, we're dealing with a situation where Clinton and Obama manipulated these files? That's the case. Arrest them now.
All that made me think is that he's in the files then. That's all that made me think. I was like, damn it, Trump, why'd you do that? Like now I'm like,
he is in the files. I don't think he is because Epstein's lawyer came out and said,
he's not.
I asked him directly, is Trump implicated in any of this? And then Epstein told the lawyer that's speaking out right now, no. But the lawyer doesn't believe Epstein killed himself. That same lawyer says there's no way Epstein killed himself.